Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Katanagatari reaction series. Back here again today for some more Katanagatari goodness. Today I think we're doing episode 9. I think that sounds correct. Yes, episode 9. It's great to see everyone back again. It's a little bit rainy outside, so the lighting should be fine for once, which is good. I'm actually recording this on time because I forwent recording a movie over the weekend. So yeah, we're very fresh. We're ready to watch some Katanagatari. It feels good. It feels real good. We'll get up the YouTube comments there. Hot Wheels Kid first comment here. The cat dish thing is actually a pretty famous Japanese Rakugo story. Look up Neko no Sara if you're interested. I did. It was a very short little folktale type thing, and yeah, very much mirrored what was in the episode proper. There was something about selling cats in it as well, which was a little bit strange to me. It's a little bit of a twist on it, but anyway, I digress. Next comment here, Gian Bueno. Amon Zaimon seems to have a Hitagi Koyomi kind relationship dynamic with Princess Haite, just enjoying being on the receiving end of her insults. I mean, a lot more than Araragi ever did, I think. But anyway, like we'll see what this bloke's cooking something. There's something within their origin that's probably a little bit weird. It's probably going to inform our other main relationship in the show of Togami and Shichika. It's gonna be interesting to explore. I'm sure old mate Nisio Sin, he's got something tucked in his sleeve that he's just waiting to show us. Just a couple more comments here. G Bird, we love Pengu. Oh yes, we do. We love our boy Penguin. I hope he doesn't die a brutal, horrible death, but it's looking more and more that way as we continue. So, not good. And last comment here, Jeff Liu, Gunchaku, like a nunchaku? Or nunchucks? Anyway, what are we talking about here? Yeah, right, because there's like two of them and they're guns. Okay, that makes sense. I'm happy with that. And a winky face, maybe that's something on the horizon we're going to need to take a look at. So the thing about last episode is we kind of looked into like a bunch of swords. Like we're going to go to kind of Kiki's little hut or whatever the hell, his workshop, where he's presumably recorded where most of these swords went, so maybe he will tell us a good starting point to get another sword. An interesting one to chase straight away would be the guns, but again, maybe we're leaving that for a little bit more of a finalistic Shichika, Togame, Haite, Amon Zaimon conflict. It's definitely like a sword versus gun type thing, and I'm interested to see where we land on the issue, actually. Speaking of which, we're going to jump into the episode very, very quickly here. Just need to do some chill stuff real quick, so if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back, and the Discord. Join Discord, love Discord, and yeah, we're going to jump into episode 9 of Katanagatari right now. Rightio, I have episode 9 of Katanagatari up there ready to go. Pop that up on screen, 49 minutes and 50 seconds on this one, so please sync up accordingly. Have those GSK-kun subs, so use those subs if you want to kind of follow along with my version. If not, there's a picture-in-picture version in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Just going to give this a 3, 2, 1 and jump right in. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. Shogi. Oh, of course. I'm stupid. I forgot the preview last week. We're doing this. It's obviously not the guns. Yeah, Oto Nokogiri. Yeah, okay. We did also mention that last week. Oh, her eyes are like shogi pieces. I am a sword. She's mad. No, but this isn't my game. If you put something in his hands, he becomes useless. Alright, cool. We're doing this opening again, too. Yeah, I forgot this person existed. So we walked up to them, presumably got some data that they were there and that sword was there. I'll challenge you to shogi, right? which Togame wins, right? Strategian and all that kind of thing, right? But then it's like, okay, I'll fight Shichika, right? We're gonna make him bend to our format, so he's not gonna be very good. I don't know, if we want to do this legitimately, we're gonna need to change our tact somewhat, I think. Yeah, how about that person? I missed that person last time. Person sitting on the rock? It's a bit weird. I'm recording. It's good. True. Oto Nokogiri. Saw the king. Saw? Like a saw. Like a wooden saw. Okay, we're in Shogieville, sure. Okay. Please give me a name for this character. Zanki. Kiguchi Zanki. Sure. Yeah, as we saw in the intro. Blundered is a good word there too. It's just his nature. Okay. Sure. What do you mean by that? Oh. Dunno. Well, her hair looks very sharp. Those sound like compliments. Oh no. Biorigo. Interesting shot. True. So if you're forced into using this weapon and you're automatically weak, I don't know if I have a plan for you. Interesting. I wonder what the grandfather was like before that. You should work on that one. A little bit. Also, I was under the impression she was older. Anyway, I must have been wrong. Gotcha. With the sound effect, too. All the donos. Huh? So, what do you wish to fight on, then? Alright, that's very, magnanimous. Sure. Weird. The money are back. There was a tease of an Amon Zymon Ho fight as well. I remember that. Oh shit. Yo. Penguin kind of popped off. That looks like a sword. Dokuto Meki. You took his arm? It was just in a cave somewhere? Okay. This blade seems like super poisonous in comparison to the one that we're dealing with this episode. I think she may try to draw that sword. Umigami was the turtle guy. If he saw that sword, that would have been cool. Well, they can't. They're dead. You don't know. You've never done it before. It looks like a fucking like a really stupid smile. I think you're seeing some things that aren't there, Togame. Until they are. I think he's not reading the cues very well. What? Okay. Hmm. Yeah, you're sleeping on the couch tonight, bud. She doesn't seem like she'd be a great teacher, but we'll see. We're gonna get some action firsthand. Alright, have fun at school. Exactly. She's mad because she wouldn't be a distraction. Yeah. He's a little bit. He can't really read between the lines very well. Also, you would imagine is the hair her sword? Sure. Okay. Sure. Hey. Okay, yep. Based. What is this run? Oh. Yeah, but it's not what you think it is. Oh. Bug. Do not kill it. Okay. Thanks. Oh, that's great, because the run's different. Oh yeah, there's a ton of good stuff here. Alright. It's very rom-com. It's very sitcom plot, but we're dealing with it. It's like it's a bar of soap. He truly is hopeless with a sword. Yo, he thick as fuck. What are you tired from? Hmm. Still smiling. No, no, no. He doesn't know. Mmm. Yeah. Sorry, bud. You got hosed. It's a classic misunderstanding. Again? Okay, we're doubling down. That makes it even better. And like these like very shoujo shots here. And that run. Okay, great, great, great. We could even do one more. She really kind of like licked his armpit there, though. That was a bit weird. I know she was biting off the piece of thread, but you know, let me have my jokes. Are we having an intervention? He's always got this stupid look on his face. Yeah, so that's why she saved the bug. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh no. No, you don't tell her that. Yeah, no, he's being set up to fail, but he's not doing himself any favors. No, you should never have mentioned that you already had dinner. Just have two dinners. Kind of frugal. It's not about the food, it's about eating with you. It's about sharing a meal with you. All these words that he's using. But it being rough, the learning curve. Funny. Hey, indeed. The world's biggest rice ball? Huh? Yeah, what is this? Come on, man. Alright, what's the misunderstanding this time? She's got to start coming at a different time of day. Oh, classic. You literally saw them trip. Ugh. I don't like that on the toes. Here's lunch over here. Here's one I prepared earlier. They were roughhousing in the dojo. There's probably something with the hair too. Like she's got the short hair and Kuguchi's got the longer hair. She thinks she's more of like an older woman or whatever the hell. He's so bad at this. Just come clean about the lie, and then they can explain either side. Oh, she's a vampire. Is that a Monogatari reference or? Seems like he's getting better. Okay, nice towel. Yeah, explain a bit more of that. Why don't you have any of the students? Well, you're nice for one, but okay. Sake of the nation, huh? Yeah. Okay. So who protected it? Oh. I wonder if we will learn. Interesting. I think he would be not very good at it. I see. Okay, so maybe it has something with, like, making you do this. More upright person. More studious, I guess? Interesting. King's Paradise. Interesting that you bring that person up, actually. Okay, that's kind of sad. Kinda? Interesting. Shino Iso. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get hit by it, I can tell you that. Okay, let's continue. Alright, back in Awari. What's the princess doing? What? What are you talking about? Is my ceiling boy gonna talk to me? What do you mean by that? Alright, we'll flip a coin. We'll take that. Is he even there? Oh, shit. He went off with the guns to kill Ho-Ho. Oh, shit. Yeah. Contrast in the episode, right? But you can argue that that the other one has some form of poison in it, for sure. We got an evil sword from an evil cave. What would you use the bargaining chip for? He's right. Whore. Whoa. That's probably yeah, here's one. Okay, gotcha. Okay. It's like we got these like two evil people and then just like the kid next to them. It's so funny. Alright. What's going on, Amon Zymon? Get destroyed. She does that normally too. Do as you're told. Well, that's good. Yeah, it's irrelevant. She's putting the boot down. Oh, got a plan? Yeah. Look at this shot. Ha! I agree. Yeah. It's getting hypnotized. True. I think he remembers it too. That's your scheme? It's a terrible scheme. Okay, Amon Zymon. Okay. I don't agree. We're still delaying the Ho-Oh fight. Gotcha. Whoa. Unanswerable. That's also unanswerable. Yeah, the swords that he has, huh? Okay. Infinite whips. That's pretty cool. Definitely fits her character too. Okay. Thanks for giving me a hint. I'd like to be slowly tortured to death. That sounds pretty good. This guy's trying to use his teleport behind you move. Yeah, is there some history there? I still don't believe you. Yeah. How about handgun? How about revolver and handgun? Yeah, because they did look like katanas or something before. Okay. Not the butterfly boy. Hooray! Number one ship in the show, for sure. Where are we taking her off to? Just into the moonlight? That makes sense. Okay, goodbye. Okay. Finally. The truth is revealed. They're getting a lot of mileage out of animation this episode. It's great. What? I don't think you get it. Yeah, can you please reveal the thing? Yeah, exactly. So you won't be a complete amateur like Konayuki was. Oh, okay, sure. Thoughts? Shichika? Got anything? Okay, that works. Good move, Togame. That was good. Okay. I think a lot of this is going to go how Togame planned. Okay. Put it all on the line, huh? Best of 9? That would take a long time, no? What's the time left in the app? Yeah, okay. About 10 minutes. Okay, close. Why would you even play the last one if... Anyway, weird. Oh, yeah? Hmm. Whatever you say, you seem pretty good to me. I think I literally can't get results. It's just my nature. What do you mean incorrectly? Hands the wrong way around? Slay your heart's demons. Oh, he said it. He said the line. Okay, this will be interesting. She's watching a very good match of tennis. What? Oh! Whoa! Sick. Okay. You got played. Get mind flooded by Shogi. Hit her. Yeah, because that is your nature. Interesting. Okay, that's great. Incredibly quiet and anticlimactic. Yeah, that was great. Well, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I didn't have to murder in cold blood. That would have been good. Actually, in the rulebook. Of course I cheated. Oh. I mean, I was thinking she just didn't even think about it. "42 moves. That's pretty good." Wait, when did you take the arm off? Kinda. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Okay, so it wasn't your hair. That's good. Oh, of course, it was the sword that she was already just using. You should go back to playing shogi. That'd be a good thing that you could do. Now that the sword's poison, or whatever the hell. Okay. What? Okay, I need to read the translation on that one. Indeed, only 3 episodes left. They got one. I know that. It was just in a cave. It wasn't very hard to get. Oh. Oh my god. Yeah. Shogi or something? A hidden purpose. Okay, so there may be more to the story. Bit more intrigue for later on. I think you're onto something, though. Because he actually truly wanted all the swords, that he could have gotten this sword very easily. Sure. I'm not going to say no. A brief stop at a warrior to maybe drop off the sword? Maybe. Oishu. Oshu. Oh, whatever that is. Oh, it means that she's dead. Right. Yes, Haite? Oh. Togame's hidden birthplace? Bro, they be spoiling shit in theirs. Parents? Parents? That doesn't make any sense to me. Her father was moided. Maybe they're foster parents, whatever the hell. Oh, cool song. Yeah, cool episode, by the way. I really like the reveal during the fight. And I love how they're like, isn't that against the rules? It's like, yeah, I don't care. That's so funny. I think the ED's slightly different too. At least her haircut's different for sure. We finally got the first kiss, thoughts? All it took was another romantic rival? That's funny. This is a gorgeous song. I love her voice. Love the strings. It's gorgeously produced. Yeah, this is maybe one of my favorite ones so far. This is really good. Okay, give me a preview. Okay, yep. Flashback stuff. What the fuck? Okay, that seems like that sword. Oh, hello. Hello? It's like Dream Sequenceville. What the fuck? Sure. Scale's the true. The true? Like the truth? Like you dream some? Weird. Next episode's gonna be fucking wild. And yeah, a little bit of analysis on episode 9 of Katanagatari. And we're back. Katanagatari, episode 9 in the books. Quite a good one. I think we kind of rely maybe on that sitcom plot, maybe 10 minutes too long. Other than that, I'm pretty okay with it. Just like the misunderstanding, seeing somebody doing something that they're obviously not doing and revealing that to the audience straight away. Also noticed that last week during the preview there was a bait and switch where they showed us that and we thought that we were in Togame's shoes essentially. We didn't see the other side of it. And then as soon as I saw it play out, I'm like, oh, okay, I know where this story's going. I think it's decent in pointing Togame and Shichika's relationship in the right direction, right? And you know, getting them to take that next step or whatever the hell. It also helps with some of the comedy of the episode, helps to propel it that way, I guess. But other than that, it's a little bit, you know, ancillary. Other than that, we learned a ton. We learned a ton about kind of the Maniwa core and them getting this new sword. Let me get a name for it very quickly. It is Dokuto Meki, yes, which we're translating here as guilt, like gold leaf, the venomous. Well, the venomous part makes sense because it's the most poisonous sword, but other than that, I digress. So that's a progression there. Oshidori dies, so there's another money where that goes. That connection with Chorchor, the butterfly boy. That's now done as well. That's a nice, cute bow on that. We've seen the gun in action. It definitely operates like a gun. Somebody like shoots somebody in the head and they fucking die. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I mean, I don't know what Shichika's going to do about a gun. That seems pretty difficult to deal with. What else? Let's focus specifically on this episode. So we have the sword called Oto Nokagiri, of course. So I've got Oto here as kind of a mashing of the kanji for both king, rule, magnate, so like a king, right? And sword. But the king, right, specifically being more related to shogi. I believe that this is the kanji that is on the king piece as well. So again, once you get defeated, you take the king, you take Oto Nokogiri, right? That just makes sense to me. That's a good metaphor, combining the kind of shogi and the sword wielding stuff from the episode. I guess on the other end there we have Nokogiri, which means saw. Don't really understand that very much at all. So yeah, I don't get that. How is it a saw? Because it's made of wood and you saw wood? I really don't get it. I've got a couple more here too from the actual kanji used for Kaguchi Zanki's name, right? So first up we have Kaguchi, right? Where we can't really find anything super specific, but it's got the kanji for both vapor or steam, weird, and mouth. Steam mouth? I don't really understand that. This one here makes a whole lot more sense. The Zanki that we continue to talk about, right? So we've got here feeling of shame, but it's an outdated or obsolete kind of usage. Yeah, deep feeling of shame is what we're saying that is, right? And that attaches to the character of Kaguchi quite well, I believe. Like, you know, feeling the shame of kind of abandoning one of her major joys in life and kind of the culture of the town that she's a part of for this other weird kind of faux family thing where you're in control of this dojo. Let me get a name for that one again. Shino Iso Dojo, sure. Yeah, so again, my head and my heart pulling me in two different directions there, at least a little bit. I don't really get the showgirl thing at the end. I think it's another pun of something else. It's a little bit of a weird end for the character, I must say. But again, Nishiwa Sin likes words. He likes words and he likes making funnies about words. So, I mean, that's all that I can really take from there. I'm going to say we've kind of gotten rid of our establishment of location a little bit more. Like, we don't really have a location of where this is, in my opinion. I can't really find it in any of the synopsises I just read, so sure. We're in Japan somewhere. We're probably not too far away from where we just were, which was the Tokyo area. Maybe this will come back with the next episode where it seems like we're in a very specific place with apparently Togame origin connection stuff. And a weird person that's going to show us some dreams or something, because there was a lot of dream sequences in that preview. Anyway, I think I've rambled long enough. Let's get this episode back up and have another look. I guess we're in Dewa. Where the hell's Dewa? Here we go, Dewa Province. Is this what we're talking about? Which is about here in Japan? Sure. What do we say here? Modern day Yamagata Prefecture and Akita Prefecture. Sure. Okay, we're here. I don't know how that impacts the story at all, but I've got a geographical bearing now, which is pretty rad. We start the episode with Kaguchi admitting defeat in shogi to Togame. Again, the strategian. She held up her end of the bargain or whatever the hell. And I think this is the first time we see it, but I'm probably going to shout it out a lot. There's a lot of great Togame in this episode, right? Great faces, great poses, great animation pieces. Just lovely. It really builds out her character quite well. So again, I'm sure we know the story here, but again, first we're challenged at shogi. Togame beats the shogi part. And then Shichika, you can't battle me without any armor or weapons. What are you, crazy? You know, and as we learn later in the episode, it's a little bit more about protecting another person and that kind of thing. She doesn't want to be responsible for these injuries and that kind of thing. So you have to wear the armor, you have to use the sword. They're necessary for me to fight you. And then, as we know, he puts on the sword. It results in this another great face from Togame as he gets defeated. Yeah, quite easily, right? Yeah, sets us up for the episode quite well. And of course, it's unexpected for somebody like Kaguchi, right? Because this person's looks outwardly very strong. Why can't they wield a weapon at all? Again, I was just trying to protect you by putting these things on, but you've got a weird thing about weapons, right? Sword can't use a sword. What do we tie that back to? Somebody's humanity, right? So he still can't escape this kind of family legacy that he has. It tells him not to embrace all these other human components. Yeah, I think that's where we're ultimately going with this idea of a sword not being able to use a sword. It classifies oneself as a sword, and thus Togame may use it at some point in the future. Potentially. The reason why we say grandfather, 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 grandfather later on is 12th generation head of the Shino Iso school, And, you know, the sword got passed down from the 8th, so that's why we say that. Just thought we'll get that connection there. Love this line here. You beat her at shogi, but I went and blundered. Blunder being an idea in, I'm guessing, both shogi, but more prominently that I know, in chess. Oh, and this is great too. Kind of like this position for Shichika at this moment. And Togami is very much in this position later in the episode as, you know, she can't really explain her position all that well because it's like a sitcom thing. Anyway, you know what I mean? She's feeling, you know, betrayed and is sitting in a similar spot. Down in the dumps, sulking. Shichika notes that Koguchi seems to be too pure to be under the effects of the poison of one of the blades. We find out that this blade in particular doesn't have a poison, but I would argue that it does. It gives them a strict sense of duty and honor and being bound by rules and straightening them up, right? Which is kind of what I see as the showgirl joke at the end. She's kind of letting loose a little bit. Like, you have to be this certain way if you wield this sword, and, you know, as soon as I started wielding the sword, I got this immense, you know, desire to want to be the kind of commander of this, to be the leader of this school, to be the teacher here. When before I was just really interested in shogi and kind of avoided all this stuff. Interesting. I think there is an element of poison to this, but I think we're also contrasting the, I guess, lack of visibility on this poison with the other blade in the episode, Meki or whatever the hell. Yeah, that Ho now has, which will be an interesting plot development. It doesn't bode well for him. To put it simply, its lack of poison is proof of its kingship, of course part of the name comprising of the character for king. Makes sense. Yeah, her aura felt very sharp. She was like a taut rope. And again, at the end of the episode, when we let that sword go, I think she lets loose. Okay, gotcha. I think that's part of the episode for sure that I was missing initially. Of course, as Shichika's describing Koguchi in all this detail, Togami starts to get a little bit jealous. Oh, why doesn't he describe me like that? We'll see a lot of Togame jealousy this episode. Again, great faces. Yeah, loving the slapstick too. The 2-foot kick from Togame later in the episode is a highlight as well. Whilst we're treated to some, I guess I would say, promiscuous shots, Togame explains that a lot of her plans rely on somebody being able to execute them, right? Like, if you were that much weaker than when we took out any of the other swords, up to and including last episode with Byoriko, then I don't think we could have had that same solution. Another interesting anecdote here is how was her shogi? Oh, pretty good. If she devoted herself to shogi instead of the path of the sword, should be truly formidable. But she split the two. Again, she's being pulled in either direction. Again, maybe like a taut rope. Okay, that's very clever. I like that. Another part of the episode I guess I'll talk about here, right, is I can't really tell women's ages, and that I guess that Kiguchi's age is about the same as mine, so, I mean, 24, 25. Pause. I thought that he was younger, and I thought that Togame was older than he was. Again, that doesn't make much sense to me. I'm guessing those scenes we see where kind of Shichika's father is explaining him stuff on the beach, like, those are very soon after they get exiled. Otherwise, the timeline doesn't make much sense. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling. Either way, women's ages, right? And we also talk about her hair here, right? How it makes her look younger and that kind of thing, and, like, not as a mature woman and all that crap. And Koguchi's hair is long. It's, you know, prominent. It's a comparison point. It's black instead of her white. It's a sore spot, I guess I would say, for Togame. This is actually really fun too. So Koguchi walks in on, I guess, the two of them, you know, compromised position, I guess. They're just kind of on the bed together. I guess that's kind of compromised, which is surprising. It's paired with a really, like, funny sound effect. And it's funny because this happens to you 3 times throughout the episode as well. You get tricked by this. And Koguchi Dono, she just doesn't care. She doesn't care what they do in their bedroom in their own time. She's not that interested in Shichika beyond teaching him, I think. Speaking of teaching him, that's what she comes here to offer, essentially, right? He's very funny bad. He's almost hilariously bad at doing this thing, so I'm going to teach him. I'm going to take him as my first student. So yeah, I want to have a fair fight with him, so I'm going to teach him until he's good enough to have a fair fight. Then we can talk about this sword. Cool, sets up the plot for the episode. Shichika needs to go to the dojo. So then the Maniwa in the forest for some reason. We know, having seen the episode, that they're looking for the sword. I love this shot here, kind of like twisting and turning. I can't help but feel like this is a bad move for Ho, that it may be, you know, corrupting him somewhat and, Yeah, I think there's more history there. There's more history between him and Amon Zaimon as well. It'd be an interesting one to watch. It does not bode well from the ominous shots here. Here's the sword in question, right? Dokuto Meki, sure. Venomous sword. Has the most poison, again, as opposed to Nokogiri, Oto Nokogiri, that we had this episode. Not very poisonous at all. It's interesting that this sword here is in the possession of nobody. It's almost like somebody knew it was corrupting them and they hid it here, like kind of sealed it away so that the poison wouldn't spread. It does not bode well. It doesn't bode well at all. He also has Kawa Uso's left hand, which he uses to inspect it, right? Kawa Uso's ability used to be something about object permanence or something. Or like thinking about an object and being able to find it. It was something weird. He was the otter guy that got murdered, basically, because he wanted the trust of Shichika and Togame. Yeah, weird one. I don't really know what that's about. We see this shot a lot in the episode. It's kind of like Shichika's dumbass face when he's not really thinking about what he's saying, and that it may offend Togame. Like just staring off into nothing, talking about how excited he is to get trained. Again, he hasn't trained by anybody, well, he hasn't been trained by anybody since his father trained him way back then on the island. And then here's the, we're sowing the seeds of the conflict. You sound like you're complaining about it, but you have a huge smile on your face. Like, what's wrong, Togame? What's wrong? I don't understand what's wrong here. He kind of leans in for a kiss here. I don't understand what that's about. Anyway, she's the kind of person that puts a handicap on her opponents when she herself is already handicapped. Because again, if I fought her without using armor and a sword and stuff, then I'd probably beat her. Like, you don't like how smug she's being about how bad Shichika is, considering we're only playing by her rules. The name Zanki is written as slay your heart's demons with your heart. Whatever that means. I saw it as shame. That's what it said when I looked it up, but sure. Like, going that far, like slaying your own heart with your heart or whatever the hell, is that why she has no students? Is it too intense for everybody else? But then later in the episode, I was thinking that this may have been a plot point, but she just says that this is her first student. Like nobody just wants to join. I don't know. Weird one. I'm going to try not to pause on every single one, but this little exchange here is fantastic. Like, hey, I'm going off. It's like, huh, Togame, I thought you were coming with me. I thought you were going to watch me train. I'd just be a distraction if I were there. And then Shichika's like, no, you wouldn't be. It's like, no, you were supposed to say that I was going to be a distraction because you're so hopelessly attracted to me. Like, I feel like that's a no-win. Like he wants to give her some independence, but she wants to be needed. It's very weird. Now, I don't know much about this kind of dojo and this martial art in particular, but cleaning the dojo and running along the floor like that, that's definitely a trope. I like that. So yeah, cleaning the dojo, emphasis on formalities and that kind of thing. He's going to make the role of the student, right? He's going to be taught this stuff. He's going to do what he's told. And this run here, right? And initially I was like, why did we set up this run as an idea? It's very noticeable, right? Like the arms flaying like that, and like I should show up and surprise Shichika, it'll be great. And there was a flick of a shogi piece as well, so she's probably playing shogi in town, just kind of neatening up her, technique and that kind of thing. And here's the first of our misunderstandings, I guess. I will say this one in particular looks pretty bad because she grabs his head, which is like, why else would you do that? But it's to grab a bug off the back of his head. She also lets the bug go, so she's very, not violent. She's very much emphasizing swords without killing. Again, taught. There's no release in, swordsmanship without killing, right? There's an idea here somewhere, but I can't quite talk about it. It's very much your character, which is very contrary. So we're studying this technique that's essentially about killing people, but I'm not going to use it to kill anybody. It's just for training. It's just for the technique purposes. It's like doing boxing for fitness, right? That's kind of what she's doing. Yeah, interesting. I feel like it matches her character a lot. I can't quite kind of get those words out correctly. And then here's the payoff for the setup before, right? Kind of the arms going everywhere, and that shot there in particular. Remember the shot where it was face on? It was very structured. Now this one's all over the place. It's floating in and out. She doesn't really know what's happening. There's obviously this kind of shoujo pastiche here as well. Yeah. There's lots of great stuff here. This is what she's imagining they're having lovey-dovey time right now in the dojo, and that she's, getting cucked essentially. She doesn't want to be cucked, so it makes her sad, and she runs weird. Makes perfect sense. I love the comparison of these techniques and Shichika just like losing his sword like a bar of soap. Pretty good. He's just absolutely hopeless with it. This here is a setup for one of our kind of misunderstandings for Togame later when she straightens up his back. I've definitely seen this before in real life. Like, you come home and you've got no idea that you're in trouble, and you just go about your day normally, like doing, your normal stuff, and the other person is pissed off that you didn't think about it as much as they thought about it. Yeah, this is a very real feeling for sure. Like, again, he's doing nothing wrong, but because we're the audience and we can see the Togame perspective, we kind of feel her side of it as well, which makes this kind of stuff feel infuriating, right? Just coming home and bragging about how good school was when we know that Togame thinks that you're doing naughty stuff there. It just works. And it's most of the comedy in the episode, so I'm probably not going to keep shouting it out, but it hits on something real and it's executed really well. Togame progressively gets more pissed off throughout the episode, wondering about what this strict training is. This is reusing almost that same bed shot that Shichika was in early in the episode as well. Pissed off, right? They're pissed off and sulking. Shichika also brings up there that he saw Togame at the dojo, and then she immediately wants to go to sleep and not talk about it. Again, sitcom plot, you could probably solve it with just talking to each other, but I think it just slightly overstays its welcome. Other than that, it's pretty fine. We have a rule of threes going on with this joke. There was kind of a tear in the armpit of Shichika's clothing there, and took it off to have it repaired, but no, it must be something scandalous like this. And yeah, same kind of running style, but even more labored this time, even more swirly, even more ominous. Yeah, the sword of life, the way of life, not killing anything, so different from the killing schools that it even disapproves of squashing bugs. It's so very different to what I'm used to, right? But at the same moment, Shichika's already fucked up because she's made a meal for him, essentially, right? Like, look at this. There's food ready. See, what you should do here, right? And this is his, like, real fuck up. This is the fuck up that Shichika makes here. You just eat the food. You don't tell her that you've already eaten. Even if you have, you eat the food. You don't tell her to go ahead and eat, because here there's a mismatch in the importance of the small things, right? Like, clearly, Togami enjoys their time together and eating together, and it's about you being there and eating with me. Where, again, men, and I'm going to say men, often fall into the trap of thinking that a meal is just sustenance. Not really for everybody. Maybe they enjoy your company and want you to be there too. But again, too embarrassed to say anything. It works. It's quite complex. And keeps bringing up this training that's so rigorous and that it couldn't even move anymore. You're just making the matters worse, dog. You're just making it worse. But when they go to talk over the meal as well, he just brings up Kaguchi straight away. Again, great expressions this episode. I've said it like 5 times now. I guess the dinner scene brings up the idea of food, and that I guess Kaguchi's quite frugal with her meals, and doesn't eat as much as Shichika probably, so we're going to get him the world's biggest fucking rice bowl. Here's the kind of bending over joke that comes back for a payoff. She brings along the world's largest rice bowl, like bringing a lunch into work for him. This same shot walking up the street, instead of running now, she's carrying this rice bowl. And then, yeah, just as we're going to correct his hip placement, walk forward like that, Shichika trips over. Now this one's the classic one, right? Oh no. How scandalous. Oh no. I wonder if he ended up eating the world's biggest rice bowl there, because, again, Togame just kind of runs away. It's kind of sad here when she's crying. I don't like that. Again, around here would be a great spot for this kind of thing to be revealed, and the kind of misunderstandings changed. But instead, here she just gets on her bad bitch shit and starts acting more like Haite. I don't know. It's an interesting one. It never really truly gets resolved, I wouldn't say. Here, explicitly, Shichika says moving his body at the dojo feels good. He just can't help but say the wrong thing every time. Turns Togame into a friggin' vampire. Probably the most important scene in the episode takes place here. It reminds me of the conversation that Meisai had with Shichika very early in the show as well. Just kind of sitting outside, them all alone, just having a conversation about stuff. Revelatory for both parties here. So we start here. Kaguchi says that Shichika's her first student, essentially, right? And maybe that she's a bad teacher because he's showing no progress with his swordsmanship. Shichika also brings up that she's very different from the other, I guess, deviant blade masters we've met so far. But she denies that. I know that the correct thing would be to give up this sword for the state, or whatever the hell excuse we're still running with Togame with, right? But even knowing that, I still can't part with it out of my own amateur selfishness. Like the sword itself, it represents the dojo and it proves my identity. It's basically my license to be here. It's passed down from generation to generation, right? So it's kind of this indicator of the dojo and how good the dojo is, and it's special to the family, right? It's a family heirloom, even if the family isn't blood related. Now that I think about it, weird. Listen, we bring up General Q here, right? And why didn't he collect this sword? There was nothing really stopping him from collecting this sword. There's something stopping me because I'm a sword and I can't accomplish this part, but he didn't have such an issue. Then why was he not able to take this sword, essentially, right? We explain essentially that we don't know here, but we have a theory with Togame later that potentially General Q wasn't after all the swords in the same way that he said he was. Potentially there's something else on the cards there. That may be revealed in the next 3 episodes. So we've got no details about the 8th generation head when Q would have been around. It isn't blood related, so it isn't my great-great-great-great-grandfather, whatever the hell. Weird. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. Kaguchi calls herself an amateur here, but in the past I couldn't even call myself that. I rejected the way of the sword and spent all night and day in the town playing shogi. My behavior caused many fights between the previous head and myself. My grandfather and I. We asked Shichika if he plays shogi, he says no. When my grandfather died, I had to leave my life of shogi behind. Succeeding a dojo with no students had no appeal to me, but the instant I took up the inheritance of Oto no Kogiri, my body became tense. Like that taut rope. It's true to say that I've become a more upright person since that time, then I can say it is all due to this sword. If that's not a poison that the sword has inflicted upon you, then I don't know what is. Come to think of it, my grandfather also mentioned that he felt like he was reborn upon claiming the sword. He called the feeling itself Oto Rakudo, which is King's Paradise. That's a way more positive kind of name for it, right? It felt really like I had a lot of authority, I had a lot of importance. Where Kaguchi's is way more like I became tense. It's a very interesting one. We bring up Saruga Meisai, who is another character who, upon claiming a sword, essentially changed their personality, or had a personality change within their journey, I guess. Interesting. Shichika compliments her by calling her earnest, and like, you seem like you're really stuck in your ways in a good way. But she's like, no, not at all. Not a single day passes where I don't think about the other life I might have had. A life of love in particular, right? And maybe also talking to the showgirl angle as well. Interesting. Like when I see you and Togame, I can't help but feel like everything that I've thrown away is welling back up. Interesting. That I've like kind of sworn to this duty, and I don't have the control over my life and the freedom from the tightness that I used to have. But there's nothing wrong with following the way of the sword, says Shichika to himself. But what can swords accomplish in this day and age, right? What can they accomplish if you're just a sword? Not much. You don't have freedom, you're under the control of other influences, whether that be Togame or the overbearing family stuff that you have, right? Shichika definitely feels this, right? He feels like he's trapped and controlled by his family lineage a little bit, and his destiny, and his kind of classification as a sword. And he wants to break that a little bit. He doesn't want to be the last of his generation as well, which is an interesting thing. Like, do I want to have kids? Maybe even with Togame, I don't know. Shichika tries to close the conversation by saying, in an age of peace, kind of Shino Iso, whatever this shit's called, whatever her school's called, it's kind of this peaceful, non-violent technique, right? It's like, no, well, if you're not wearing armor, it could still like shatter your brain and rupture your organs and stuff. So it's not completely safe. It's still violent. However, this sword in particular, it cannot cut. I wield a way of life only in name. So your heart's not in it, again being torn in 2 directions. It's this sword that is mainly for training, but can also do damage, but isn't quite a sword that can cut. Taut rope. Yeah, lots of stuff here. Now we go to Owari quickly and we check in with Princess Haite. It seems her strength as a strategian is the strength to affirm everything from her own weakness to the ugliness of the world is definitely a threat to me. What? That's a lot of words very quickly. She's talking about Togame. So her strength as a strategian is a strength to affirm. If she could see through my disguise, my mirage maybe, that is a threat to me. That's why I deny her. Judging from the results though, I always look like I'm on the losing end, but I want that to change. But she's kind of my kryptonite in that way. And she's pointing to the roof and looking to the roof quite often, thinking Amon Zaimon's there, but he's already on his mission to take out Ho'o. Like, the fan changes sides here as she's, like, continually unsure about Togame and what her strength is, and where Haite's own strength is. Is Haite's strength in resilience, and then maybe that's kind of Togame's weakness, but maybe it's something more fundamental than that? Like, if she's a strategian, she excels at thinking, she excels at scheming, right? Maybe she also can excel at not thinking about certain things and keeping them out of her mind. She yells up to Amon Zaimon to make sure that he's listening, but as we know, he's not there. He has grabbed the two guns, the gun swords, and he's gone off to murder. Now, this thing here, it's probably the first of the deviant blades that they've gotten since, again, the very start that Komori had, right? Which was Zeto Kana. Zeto's focus was how it wouldn't bend or break and cut easily. However, this one's focus is on the poison. Poison's stronger than any other sword. But then Ho-Ho's like evil laughing and stuff. I don't get it. I think this bodes very badly for you. Like with this, we have a bargaining chip with the Strategian, I guess. But with Umigame's death in Shinano, there's another person on our tail. Potentially we should be worried about them. However, Ho-Oh just doesn't really listen and continues to go down the evil route. And like look at his hand and I need to figure out this sword and all that kind of stuff. Penguin brings up that we should try to find the corpses and give them proper burials. And then Oshidori's like focusing in on Cho-Cho, and her eyes kind of shaking a little bit. Clearly still a soft spot for her. So they're about to part, but then Amon Zaimon says it's unallowable, and he continues this theme throughout the conversation, just basically denying them at every point. Before we see that, though, we cut back to another argument between Shichika and Togame about him getting too into the kind of sword-wielding stuff, having too much pride, or having too little pride in his swordless roots. I will continue to say, as they argue about the misunderstanding, the faces are really good. So almost in order to stop the training between these two from happening, stop the training between Koguchi and Shichika, we've got a scheme that we've formed, right? This shot here is great as well. Finally shows some, like, domineering over Shichika, right? I'm controlling you. I'm like bearing over you. My shadow is casting on you. Like, it's time to put an end to this. It's time for Togame to take control here, right? That's what she's trying to say. Again, controlling over him, hypnotizing him, making sure his eyes are following her finger. And here's the scheme, yeah? So we're going to basically use your weakness as a strength. So did you forget your fight with Konayuki on Mount Itadori, right? If you need a refresher, essentially Konayuki had never used the sword before, but was kind of swinging it around and just like kind of using her own strength, her overbearing strength over her adversary. She just won via fluke. We want to harness that same energy. Again, Koguchi versus Shichika, right? Shichika's overwhelmingly more powerful, but he can't use the technique. He's an amateur to the technique. So we're going to channel that same energy and play for a fluke, which again causes him to fall over. This is not a good plan. Cutting back, we got a smoke screen before we left, but now Oshidori is the only one left. She created the smoke screen to let them escape, right? She's sacrificing herself in order to save her clan. It's very noble and that kind of thing. We've seen a lot of noble stuff out of the clan. I don't know what these chain underwear are. That can't be comfortable. Like, what's going on here? Anyway, sure. Anime moment. So Amon Zaimon doesn't really say anything here that we didn't already know. He just doesn't really answer the question about his association to Ho and his... Because he's got a horse in this race. But is the horse we already know about, which is that the money were wiped out his clan and this is kind of like almost revenge? But that was ages ago? Is he also trapped by his legacy like a lot of other characters in the show and needs to break that? I don't know. I do not know. Either way, we get a better shot of the chain underwear here, which is way more important to the scene. Yeah, like, come on. What are we doing here? Come on. This is probably the best fight of the episode because it's the only real fight of the episode. It's quite well animated. I like the whips as an idea. That shot just before of kind of like the whip snakes across the grass there was quite good. Amon Zaimon tried to use his ninja move, but Oshidori was able to protect against it, and that means she's a step above Umigame, who died last episode. Hairyoken. Sure, whatever he said. Yeah, so it means that your almost on the same level as Ho and this guy. Yeah, he's more than just an acquaintance, but not a sworn enemy, is how we describe Ho. Interesting. So very funny. She has whip. She's very good at whip. She's swinging around whip. She says she's going to go in for the kill, like here, but then we hear a bunch of gunshots. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember he had gun. He just shot her as she was running in. It reminds me of the Indiana Jones scene. It's probably even being parodied considering the whips, right? Like the guy with the sword just throwing it between each hand and then getting shot by Indiana Jones. Pretty good scene. So it's a very respectful end for this character who was kind of built up from pretty early on. Amon Zaimon even shows these respects here, which is kind of his vibe as well. Her last words talking about Cho-Cho-san. Remember this guy and how he got absolutely murked by Nanami? That was pretty funny. And yeah, they're going off to heaven, right? Pretty cool. But also, rip. Either way, we're back with Shichika and Togame, and they're almost very close to admitting stuff and clearing up misunderstandings and stuff, but you're still being kind of hysterical. But Shichika stops in the middle of the conversation and says, oh, Togami, this might be bad. And again, there's just misunderstanding on misunderstanding. It's like, no, it's not about the relationship. It's about your plan from before, right? And how I see a hole in it. It's like, no, I don't mean that our relationship or whatever is bad. I mean that the scheme may have some problems. And then she's very official right back away. She's, bounces back up and it's like, it's about the scheme, so I can, put on my act a little bit more, put on my strategian costume. So what's wrong with the premise here? Okay, Konayuki was a complete amateur, right? But I've been training in this kind of sword art for 10 days now. So I've learned some stuff. Kind of in that 10 days you came up with that scheme, I've already received direct training. So of course she'll know what to expect, and of course she'll win. Okay, fine, and we get it very quickly here. Hello, there's a kiss here. Very cool. And I love the idea here, right? Do you still remember anything after this kiss that I gave you? No, I can only really focus on that one thing. That's how I got you to forget the training, and that's how we're going to be able to win this fight, right? You're going to be a complete amateur again. Just this one kiss made me forget everything else. Kind of asserting herself in this fake love triangle that she's made up for herself as well. So I get it satisfies both characters' worries in the scene. It's pretty good. Either way, the next day we go to Kiguchi and we say that we're gonna have a spa. We're gonna make sure we fight here. However, we're putting it all on the line. If you lose this fight in particular, then you have to give up on Oto Nokogiri entirely. But that shows how much faith that Togame has in her scheme. She says yes straight away. Now, follow me on this one. It's a best of 9 of shogi, so it's 9 shogi matches. The person that gets to 5 first wins. If Togame had already won, right, why are they playing the 9th game? It doesn't make any sense. Like, a victor is already decided. Like a game of tennis doesn't go on for any longer than it needs to because the victor's already been decided. It's any of these games where you try to reach a score or try to accomplish a task. There is a point in which you win. In contrast, you kind of keep needing to play a game of football until the final siren because that's the end of the game. That's the thing that ends it. Did you just ask for an extra game? Or maybe because of the best of 9, they need to do all 9 games? I don't know. Either way, Togame used it to her advantage. She kind of threw the last game here to try to get as much data on shogi as possible and kind of download her game plan, as we'll see later in the scene. Next up, we have a round of 1 swordsmanship match. So whoever hits the strike first wins. That's why when we see Shichika hit the strike, then they just win, basically. Kiguchi and Shichika are really respectful here. Like, I learned a lot from you. No, you taught me way more about teaching. I'm truly sorry that I couldn't provide better results. There's a lot of mutual respect here. But don't say that now. Potentially, if I defeat you here, then I'll show that all the training really paid off. When the opposite is true, I actually just forgot all the training and that's the reason why I could win. It's very contradictory. It's very Nisuo Sin, actually. Yeah, he's holding his sword incorrectly, apparently, and that's a big issue. Shichika says the catchphrase here, and we're into the fight. Some pretty beautiful music is playing during the fight as well. And here's the kicker. Togame's scheme is coming into action. She essentially starts to read out shogi moves and mind floods the shit out of Kiguchi, right? Again, she's a taut rope, she's being pulled in either direction. One of, legacy and swordsmanship, and the other one of personal enjoyment, I'm guessing, in shogi. So, which one's stronger? I'm going to keep reading these shogi moves in your style that I've already downloaded into my head to distract you, to pull that rope even further away, and distract you from the swordsmanship match that's going on now, and allow Shichika to hit a final blow. It's a very clever technique. This is one of the best reveals of the episode. It's one of the best reveals of the show. I think it's built up very, very well through the rest of the course of the episode. It fits a lot of themes. It fits Kaguchi's personal themes, which I just talked about, but it also fits the symbiotic relationship between kind of Togami and Shichika. Because again, here's the strategy coming through. Here's the shogi coming through, as opposed to the sword fighting. It's Togami coming in clutch. It's very, very cool. There's probably a little bit of spite coming through it in Togami as well, considering she still hasn't been cleared up on the misunderstanding. So I don't know about all that, but yeah, I mean, I think it works for all the characters involved. It's really good. Like, she can't help herself but thinking about this, gets flooded by the shogi. At the same moment we're going to drop a piece is when Shichika lands the strike. As he's falling over. It's almost like he fell into like a good strike. Either way, we're into our epilogue stuff of the episode now. Kind of manipulation and kind of mind games. That's Togami's domain. So again, Shichika's very bad at it. Why couldn't you use that when we fought Meisai? No, that was a genuine battle. You needed to kill her, apparently. But didn't you technically foul? Isn't this not fair? And then Togami's like, yeah, of course I cheated. But one, I was the referee, and two, this is a town of shogi. So it kind of goes against the culture of the town, and again, one of the sides of the rope that's pulling her to tell her to stop talking about shogi. It's some brilliantly done mind games from Togami, in my opinion. I guess this also happens at the end. They also do another fight where he's allowed to not use a sword and wear armor, and he just defeats her. Okay, sure. They even did more shogi there or something. 42 move victory. I don't know if that's good, but that sounds pretty good. Another interesting line here from Kaguchi is, becoming weaker when wielding a sword is almost like a curse. Shichika kind of muses to himself about how it might actually be a curse after all, right? Been cursed with being a sword, right? As opposed to being a human, where I can make my own decisions, where I can have a weapon that I can use of my own. I'm not the weapon to be used. And maybe I would like to break this curse one day. Maybe I would like to become a little bit more human. Again, I think we're heading towards this kind of stuff with the conclusion. I think I've said it enough. So Kaguchi is true to her word. She gives away Oto Nokogiri here. She basically gives up her title in the process. Please visit again sometime. I look forward to fighting you again. Until then, I will look forward to your coming and continue to watch over the Shino Iso School's legacy. I thought Oto was the legacy, but no, the legacy is now Zanki, right? Henceforth, I myself will be the proof of this school, as opposed to the sword. And then something about a showgirl. Let's read the pun here. Pun on legacy, which equals kanban, and then kanban musume equals showgirl. I don't really understand it, but I think you're going to be less strict now, and that's probably a good thing. We're in the episode discussing the general Q thing I've already talked about. I guess we're implying that there may be something amiss. There's something amiss with his old journey to collect all the swords, and what that might mean. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. We also end the episode on kind of a cheeky, like, threatening of another kiss from Togame to basically shut him up about Kaguchi and that kind of thing. If you ever want to clear your mind again, then let's do that. Apparently next episode we're going to head to Oshu. We'll see Togame's hidden birthplace, the land where the perfected deviant blade, Seto Hakiri, or Hakari? Yeah, sure, resides. Okay, interesting. I'm more interested about Togame's birthplace, some mention of her parents or something, which doesn't make much sense to me. Unless we're seeing people in dreams? That would then make sense, based on our little preview we are. We're also building up, again, this Amon Zaimon whore thing. I don't know if it's next episode or the one after, but it is coming somewhere on the horizon. And then we have this ending. The song here is gorgeous. Capital G gorgeous. I really love it. So we'll dive into the lyrics here too. Thou who wields this unclouded blade, I behold witness to thine honor. It's very official. It's very, very official language up here as well. The sacred flame of thy Dharma body, whence thou shrug the endless running confusion and hesitation, build sins and in vulgar ancientness? What the fuck? Bid farewell to a lying, dying wish. The steps echo. Far away, my journey what lies beyond. Deep, my spirit this silence. Strong, sharpened life, I was. Okay, the lyrics are fucking weird as shit. Okay. Very, very spiritual sounding song. Very, like we're going on a journey next week. That's what I feel this is. Like it's almost like a lullaby, like we're falling to sleep. Like reaffirming all these things about ourselves. Very, very interesting. Cool. Yeah, love that song. 10 out of 10. And then, yeah, some preview stuff. Some interesting tidbits. And there's this character that is hiding somewhere. Either way, it'll be Scales the True, which I don't really know what that's about. Anyway, I'll see you next week for that. So yeah, that was episode. Episode was really good again. I really like the Shogi reveal. And the general idea of the episode, I guess, it continues to build upon the themes of the show. The stuff happening in the background with Haite, Amon Zaimon, and the Mani Wani continue to be very, very intriguing. And yeah, just want to get in next week and really learn some more. That's what it's all about, right? I feel like the plot, it's this powder keg that's about to explode. I really want to see that pay off. But yeah, that'll be next week. Looking forward to it then. Just some chill stuff. So if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back in the Discord. Join Discord, love Discord, Discord. And yes, we'll be back next week for some more Katanagatari goodness. Just signing off here today. Cheerio. Catch you guys later. Have a good week and all that kind of jazz.